Hey crochet friends, welcome to Sugar Joye. Today I'm going to show you how I made this ribbed V-stitch lapgan or shoulder snuggle. And it's based off of a beautiful pattern that my sister Tiffany at Daisy Farm Crafts has on her website, daisyfarmcrafts.com. And you can go there and get a free downloadable PDF. The finished size of the lapgan that I made is 5 feet by 3 feet or 60 inches by 36 inches. However, it is just a simple 2-row repeat, and so you can make it as big as you like very easily. And for this project, I used Caron Simply Soft 6 skeins, 3 of the white and 3 of the blue. And the colors were white and dark country blue. And when my sister and I were talking about this pattern, she suggested going with high contrast colors, and I think it worked out great because it really makes the pattern pop. I think the thing that I like best about this pattern is that it looks like it's really complicated and difficult, and as a matter of fact, it's super easy. The other thing that I love is that there is very minimal end weaving because you carry the yarn up the side, and that is very easy to do. And also the finishing, the 2 of the ends are already finished in terms of a border, and so there's only 2 ends that you have to do for the border. So all around, it's just a very pleasant project. So let's get started. And for this project with the Simply Soft yarn, I used a Susan Bates 5.5 millimeter hook, which the US equivalent is a I believe. I can't read it, but it's a 5.5 millimeter. So we start this project with an even number of chains. Any even number will do. And so when you have your desired length, you turn and we want to work the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And into this space, the 4th space, we're going to work 2 double crochets. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull through 1, pull through 2, pull through 2 again, and then we do it again. And then we skip 1 and do 2 double crochets. And we'll do this until we get to the last space of the row. And if we've counted right on the last stitch, you'll skip 1 and work into the last chain of the row, 1 double crochet. Chain 1, 2, and turn. Now this row is going to be our working the post rows. So on your post row, we're going to slide in between the 2 double crochets that we did, and we're going to do our double crochet around the first post, another around the second post. And what that's going to do is it's going to pop out the post and give you this really beautiful texture for the project. And then our next set of double crochets, we're going to work the back post. So yarn over. And this is, especially on the beginning row, a little more fiddly, so take your time. You want to slide in between the two in the back there, work your double crochet, yarn over, slide onto the second one there, pull through one, pull through two again. And so you're going to go back and forth on the ribbed, for the ribbed row. So we work our last two back post double crochets. And then to finish the row, we want to do our last double crochet in that space. And then we chain two. So on the finished project, I just wanted to show you how the first 3 rows are going to form the first part of your border. So you have your chain, you have your foundation row with your double crochet, and then you have your back post double crochet row, and then you do one more row, which will be a V-stitch row, which I'll show you next. So where we work, and it'll be a little bit easier to see where you work on the V when we get to the color change, but you're going to be working the space between the 2 double crochets. So we yarn over, and we do 1, and we do 2. And then you can see here's our other one. So you don't want to work in here or over here. You got to make sure you're working in between the 2 double crochets from the previous row. And that'll give you your V-stitch. And so when we get to the end of the V-stitch row, our last space is going to be a double crochet. And then we're going to do our color change. So with your last 2 loops, you pull through, tighten it down a little bit. And then you do your chain 2. You turn. And the way that you remember the color change and how you get the fantastic pattern is that we work the color change on the back post, front post, or post row sequence row, not the V-stitch row. Now you can change colors on the V-stitch row, but you're not going to get this pattern. And this pattern is fabulous. So 1, 2, and then we work the back. Slide in between there. So you can see now how we worked the front post and the back post and how that's going to give us this cool pattern that comes out. So we work our last double crochet, which is a V-stitch row. So chain 2, yarn over, and then it's much easier to see with the color change where you work your 2 double crochets into. And so that's it. You just start with 3 rows, and then you do 2 rows of one color, switch 2 rows of the other color, and you just go for as long as you want to go, for as many skeins of yarn as you want to go. I'm telling you, this is a very addictive project. It's very fun, especially that second row. The V-stitch row goes really fast. And the one mistake that I would make is sometimes I would just do 1 double crochet because I really got going, and I'd have to go back. But it's very easy to find your mistakes. But Look at this beautiful pattern. You've got this beautiful chain effect that goes up the front here from punching out the, post rows on that. And this also, you can do exactly the same thing in a solid color like Tiffany did, and I did one in... And this is the other version that I did in the marshmallow brunette bundle up with a smaller hook, but you can just see how lovely the texture is with that chain. So here's another little sample that I was working on. So you can see here is our turning chain row. And this one I did without doing the little extra loop. I just carried the color directly up the side. But it's very easy to crochet over this if you've never done this before. So you want to find your corner. So doing edges takes, it's not as precise, let's say. You have to use a little more intuition when you're doing your sides, I have found. So the first row, since, your turning chain row isn't the most stable row, I like to do just a single crochet across. And try to get it as closely to, one stitch, one space. But if it's real loopy, you can skip, work in 2 spaces. Sometimes I have a hard time remembering that I'm doing single crochet and not double crochet. So you can see there is an illusion of a corner, but actually what I did, since we've got our first 3 rows of the dark color here, I just started up in that corner and did my single crochet row down the side this way. So it's not a mitered corner. So after I finish my single crochet row, I'm going to chain 2 because I'm going to do a double crochet row. Now, I'm just going to do a double crochet in every space. 1 double crochet. Oops. All the way across. So here's our double crochet row. So 1 row of single crochet, 1 row of double crochet, and then we are going to chain 2 and turn. And then we are going to do the same thing that we did for the project, except it's just 1 front, 1 back, instead of the 2 front, 2 back double crochets. And this will give you your nice ribbed border as well. So front and back. All the way across. And there it is, all finished. You've got your nice rib back and forth there. And I think that the way this pattern comes out, I mean, I have so many associations, like it's a mock basket weave kind of look. It also reminds me, especially in the navy blue and white, the Japanese embroidery. I think it's called Sukudo, something like that. I can never remember how to say it. Shushkudo? I'll have to look it up. Anyway, so very easy, minimal weave in, and then I'll
show you my little trick or hack for not counting 200 chains out. So in the event that you have to do a long chain, which for most of my projects, I do very long chains because I like to do a very long row before I have to turn and change yarn or change stitches or whatever. I like to be able to crochet for a long time. So a long chain is kind of a typical thing in my patterns. And so if I get to the end of my chain and I have not counted correctly, so for this one, I skip one and then I'm supposed to end with a single crochet, but look, I have an extra stitch there. So I finish it correctly and then I just leave it. And then when I'm all done and I'm ready to weave in ends, I just undo it. And that's it. Voila, the extra stitch just disappears. Or the extra 2 stitches or whatever. There you go. And no one knows that I counted incorrectly. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. And of course that this, make sure you check out daisyfarmcrafts.com. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter. And if you need help with Daisy Farm Crafts patterns, the best way to get the help is to go and join the Daisy Farm Crafters group on Facebook, where there are over 75,000 members at this point, and lots of people who have lots of experience with Daisy Farm Craft patterns, and you can get your questions answered. You can also post pictures of your patterns. We'd love to see them. And that's it. Have a good day. Thanks for stopping by.